Alrighty people, welcome back. This is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies for Android, and I'm just gonna very quickly check. I believe this is part 8, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's 9. Okay. Yeah, I did not export yesterday's stream. Once again, I forgot. This is what happens when you go to sleep right after finishing streaming. You don't do your post-stream homework. You don't get it done. So this is going to be part 9 of this blind playthrough then. Let me export this one. There we go. Public. Alright, let's get going. Boom. Continue. No, actually, let's rewatch the beginning for context, since we're about to start episode 4. Episode select. This one. It's this one. The Cosmic Turnabout. Yeah, there we go. Start from the beginning of this episode. The courtroom bombing incident. A terrible attack launched by the will of a madman. That incident perfectly symbolized the state of the legal world in this dark age of the law. What we're dealing with here is a total lack of respect for the law. Detonate was discovered to be the one responsible for the bombing. If only it were that simple. Somehow I can't help but think that there's a darker influence at work. One that's lurking in the shadows, waiting. That's why I want to review the trial that was taking place when the bombing occurred. After all, I've got more than a few personal stakes in it. My controller, yeah. Anyway, that should be easier than using the mouse. Oh yeah, the animated cutscene.
One hour remaining until launch. Please begin your final equipment check. Check complete. Everything's A-okay. We're ready here whenever you are. Come in at 2. Come in. Do you copy?
Time for another trial to begin, but this one is different. Sorry to bother you, but... Oh, a genie again? Are you alright, Apollo? Oh, but yeah, true, she was in the gallery when the explosion occurred. That's why she was, well, that's part of the reason, I guess, she was, tried for the bombing, I suppose, in which she was found not guilty. I was making my scary face just now. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Cords of Steel exercises. Now I'm all ready to go. Yes, knowing you, I'm sure you will be just fine. Oh, I brought you a present for my garden. Is this a lotus root? That's right, my grandma says lotus root is good for your eyes. She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. It's good for luck. Maybe later you can cook it and... Thanks for this, I'm gonna have some right now. Oh my! But you're not supposed to eat it raw? Kinda tough though. You can't eat it raw, but... Thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oops, if she didn't think me weird before, she will now. I've gotta calm down. What, you're trying to impress her? You like her back? Apollo, I'm sorry I'm late. Aethana. Ginny, I didn't know you were coming today. Did you come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it, you sly little thing, you. Ha ha ha. Aethana, stop. Quit kidding around, Aethana. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set? Oh, Apollo, Apollo, when will you ever figure it out? Figure out what? Hang. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Ah, that was a sigh. Okay. This is it. It's all over for me. They're gonna find me guilty. This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Sol Starbuck. He's a coffee drinker. He's a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The scene of the crime this time happened to be the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. But that's where I met Mr. Starbuck. We'd ask about space travel and he'd launch into story after story with so much passion. Back in those days, the man was 100% my hero. Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. I know you, Mr. Starbuck. I know you're not the type to commit murder. Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. Okay, I'm not gonna do it every time he does it, because this could get old. He's so depressed it almost seems like an act. The launch getting called off must have been a huge shock. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that, don't stop believing. Besides, you just have to go into space again. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rotted away in a cell. Clay Terran, I can't believe he was murdered. Murdered? I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command. Yeah, the hots for him. Yeah, he was a good guy, always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. He was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mr. Starbuck." How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? I've never seen Mr. Starbuck so down. Place gone, and I'm going to prison. I wish I could burn up like a shooting star right now. Mr. Starbuck, you'll be fine. What is it? What's with the yelling? I'll get to the bottom of this today, you'll see. And in exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay. Promise? Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? Oh, well, I have none. About that. We didn't get to investigate the area as much as I'd have liked, thanks to the police. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everybody thinks I did it. Thought I was gonna soar like a comet. But I'm just gonna crash like a meteorite. No, don't say that, Mr. Starbuck. Don't count yourself out yet. I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you've got to keep going. And what about you, Apollo? What about me? I was just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend? We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Apollo! The trial is about to begin. If the defense would please proceed into the courtroom. Hold on a second, there's something I need to check. Just thought about something for work tomorrow. May 5th. I know that's not tomorrow. And no flights tomorrow. Alright. Okay. Okay. So we're not controlling passengers tomorrow. The trial is about to begin. If the defense would please proceed into the courtroom. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is one trial I can't afford to lose. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. December 16th, 9:55 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 4. Day 1. Court is now in session. All rise. Court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Excuse me, Mr. Justice. Yes, Your Honor. What happened to your eye? I'm fine. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Are you sure? I don't... I'm fine, Your Honor. The defense is ready. Get on with it. I'm sorry, Your Honor. It's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting it's just a sty. A sty. Requiring a bandage like this. I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss. Maybe he's entering a touchy age. Very well, and the prosecution? The prosecution appears to be ready as well.
Silence.
Silence. Silence. Why is it always him? Give us a different prosecutor for once, damn it. It's getting old now. We've had one with like that incompetent one at the start, and now that's the third one in a row we have this dude. Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Grrr. Ah. Okay. Prosecution is now ready. Well, it didn't take him long this time. What's up with Black Quill? Now then, I shall give the opening statement.
Silence.
I'll do it. You will? What an unexpected surprise. This time I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. Something is off with the two of you today. You both seem different somehow. Very well, Prosecutor Blackquill. Your opening statement, if you would. Oh, I'm so tired. It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred at the Cosmos Space Center. Ah, that famous federal research facility of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site... Boom. 2 explosive devices were detonated and the launch was cancelled. My words. 2 bombs? How dreadful. The defendant in today's trial is charged with both the bombing and with murder. 1 Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever inane reason, it detonated a bomb on the rocket he himself would be in. Solomon Starbuck? I recognize that name. Isn't he that famous astronaut? Correct your boldness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the HAT-1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some interstellar trouble, his mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. I suppose you could say he's a living legend. Oh, I remember now. He's become something of an international celebrity, right? Mankind's hope for the future. I've got to make it back alive. They even turned that incident into a movie and everything. What's that? Captivating space odyssey that will take your breath away? I'm not sure what it says down there. Ah, yeah. Come along on a captivating space odyssey that will take your breath away. Okay, that's what it says. Even heroes tumble from their lofty heights. Returning to the subject at hand. Ah, yes, the victim was one Mr. Clay Tarrant, a subordinate of the defendant. Indeed, a loyal disciple brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't a result of the bombing? Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant, and so he was sent not into space but to the universe which we mortals cannot see. Clay. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. However, there is one thing I'm curious about. That metal box next to the witness stand. What purpose does it serve exactly? Since you asked so nicely, it's your coffin. Ah, have mercy on me. Gee, don't make me choke on my coffee. Anyway, I jest. It's evidence. Due to its immense size, we've little choice to blah blah blah. We shall get to the contents of the box in due time. Phew, I feel like I just lost 50 years of my life. Does he even have 50 years left? Inner monologue, Ethna. Inner monologue. Enough jabbering. Bobby Fulbright's the name, and justice we trust. Ah, Detective Fulbright. Very well then. Please explain the details of this incident to the court if you would. On it. First, take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. Hold on. Okay, there we go. In it, you'll find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Ah, here we are. For a more detailed look at what's on the left side of this building, take a look at this cross-section that we, the police, have created. See the launch pad in the main building? The launch pad is the square building, and the round structure is the main building, right? You got it. The incident took place in launch pad 1 and in the main building's lounge. Okay. I'll be using this diagram during my testimony. It'll make it easier to understand. Space Center diagram headed to the court record. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom, boom. One on the second floor of the Space Center's main building and one in Launch Pad 1. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in Launch Pad 1 at the time. 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. But after escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. Probably not stabbed to death. I mean, it was probably bludgeoned with like a knife handle or something. Oh, jeez. People. I'm falling asleep. Okay. A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim, blah, 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 blah. Yep, thinking he'd sabotage the bombing, the defendant attacked and killed the victim. Just look at this tragic photo. Oh my, is that a knife in the victim's chest? Yes, Your Honor, it's the knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any prints off of it though, because the defendant was in a spacesuit. Utility knife added to the court record. By the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and right glove absent in this photograph? We had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation, okay? We had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity after all. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without face or fingerprints. Now there's just one more thing I'd like to inquire about. What is this round thing next to the victim in this photo? Something so important? Ah, crap, I skipped a line. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, it has no relation to this case. I see. So we know that the bomb in the main building was on the second floor. But where was the bomb that was in Launch Pad 1 located? Hey, that one was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rocket. Apparently the area around the launch pad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram and report it into the record. No. Bombing report added to the court record. This trial's just started and we're already in a bind. You get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the 2 astronauts were doing during the bombing, that'll be the key. Details of the case. Excuse me. I'm falling asleep and this is not helping. Believe me. Okay, anyway.
Hold it!
How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down, but the room it went off in was burned black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Okay. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping up to lead the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? Ha ha ha, I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. I'll be there wherever and whenever people need my help. I'd go to the other side of the world, or even the edge of the universe. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is. I was just thinking, they use certain words for certain things, like toki when they mean 7. It's possible that this is a slang that gets explained in an English language, well, game. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is, but I guess I'll leave that alone. That one alone. Admirable decision, Justice, don't know. Huh? What did he decide? Anyway, could you describe blah blah blah? The bomb cut the power to the central bank of elevators in the 3rd floor lounge. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on the emergency backup. And how did the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whisked people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center. An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. The Space Center is pretty impressive to have its own shelter. Evacuation reports added to the court record, okay? The power outage and evacuation seem unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I'll leave that aside for now. So there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's right. One on the 2nd floor of the Space Center's main building and one in Launchpad 1. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in Launchpad at the time. In Launchpad 1, sorry. The 2 of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge, but after the escape, one of the 2 was something. Ah, crap. Okay, hold on. I forgot to press on some statements.
Hold it!
Did I press on this one already? Let me get this straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives? What are you talking about? If the defendant really did plant the bomb on his own rocket, he'd get caught in the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Fine, a simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright, the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Astrophobia? What's that? Fear of space, naturally. Just the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. And so, in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. That's absurd. Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? These anti-anxiety tablets were found among the defendant's possessions. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. There were a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbuck rode 7 years ago. Rumor has it threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck.
Objection!
Objection! But that doesn't mean he'd go so far as to blow up his own ship.
Silence!
Silence! The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name, now could he? Mar his good name. No, not after the media had branded him Sol Starbuck, Space Pioneer Extraordinaire. Yeah. That one. Given these conditions, the defendants could hardly run away like some base mutt. What, so that's why you think he resorted to the bombing? Naturally, he constructed this act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the Space Center, which would effectively abort the launch but spare his reputation. Ugh. Now I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice down on this atrocious criminal.
Hold it!
Hold it! Are you sure it was only the 2 of them? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those 2.
Silence!
Ah. I skipped a line. The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. A fingerprint recognition device? It sounds as futuristic and complex as a space center. Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. This is the door in the lounge with the fingerprint lock. It looks more like a theme park attraction meant to look like a rocket launch pad than a real one. Excuse me. My nose is itchy. Excuse me, just a sec. Forgive me. Anyway, let's continue. This is the door in the lounge with the fingerprint lock. Only personnel whose fingerprints are registered can pass through. I see. That is very different from what I had in mind. And is there a record of the number of people that passed through that door yesterday? Yes, there were only 3. The defendant, the victim, and the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmos. Yuri Cosmos. Then doesn't that mean it's possible that the director is the one who did it? Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bombs exploded at 9:28. Doing his job directing the launch. Besides having an alibi, he has no motive for committing these senseless acts. He has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then. The two of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge. Okay.
Hold it!
So while it would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, in actuality, one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct? You got it. In fact, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. If the victim had been alive, he would have for sure tried to stop the bombing. Is there any chance Mr. Terran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket? They were both alive and well at boarding time and embarked under their own power. Their hearts full of hopes and dreams of space. And then both of their hopes and dreams were dashed. If I may continue my explanation, after the evacuation order was given, the defendant made his escape, carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue. That seems like going through a lot of trouble to get someone killed. And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were 2 of them. The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm. One of them was a detective? Yep, Detective Arm specializes in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant. 2 witnesses, huh? And one of them is a detective. I doubt either one would have anything to say that would help me. I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is the truth, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out this crime. What little I could get out of him only hurt my case. Justice don't know. Foolish is the warrior who rushes headlong into battle. Preparation is an essential element of battle, so I advise you to take a gander at this. What is it? Footage from a security camera, as the 2 astronauts emerged from the bowels of the Launchpad 1 corridor. The boarding lounge security camera captured their desperate escape. Now I will direct your something, which you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim. What? I got myself some more coffee because I'm falling asleep. It's not for lack of interest for the game, but it's just lack of sleep in general. excuse me.
Order! Order, I say!
This lines up exactly with what the prosecution has been asserting. I should have known Black Quill would have something like this ready. Security camera video added to the court record. Apollo? How exactly did they determine that Clay was already gone in that footage? How exactly do they determine who's who? I see what you mean. Whether Clay was still alive at that point is pretty crucial. Well, don't they monitor the health of the person? Like a heart rate monitor and that sort of thing? Your Honor, please take another look at the footage. Isn't it possible that Mr. Tarrant was still alive here and that Mr. Starbuck was helping him? Why, I believe you're right. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
Silence!
Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. Hey! Don't insult the judge. But it only makes sense if it's the victim's dead body. What do you mean? Fulbright. Explain it to Justice Dono. You got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the lounge, someone could have spotted it. Anyone can... Ah, crap, I skipped something. Doing it while they were alone in the spaceship, that's a horse of a different color.
Objection!
But you can't deny that there's a possibility the murder could have happened in the lounge. All that video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Silence! Silence!
Your assertion is based on emotion. It's based in your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own disciple. But you have no logical explanation as to why the victim could still be alive. Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic. But it sounded perfectly logical to me. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring this cross-examination to a close. Objections? Well, Hold it. Your Honor, the defense requests a little time to think and regroup. Think and regroup? Given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need. What is it, Athena? It's just, there's something that's been bothering me. If it isn't the defense stalling for time as always. Very well, I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time. Well, every other time we were stalling for time, in the end we won, so you can't fault us for trying. Yes. You have 5 seconds. 5 seconds?! After that, I declare this cross-examination to be closed and the verdict to be rendered. Ah! Your boldness! Raise your gavel high. It's time for a countdown. That's not enough time! No! Please don't do this. Okay. Your boldness. Raise your gavel, etc., etc. Ready? We don't have time. Spit it out, Athena. Only 3 more seconds. Ah! Look, I don't think the prosecution explanation is very complete. 1 second left. Meaning there's something missing. Like, they conveniently left it unexplained. Something they didn't explain. Ah, you're right. I think I know what you're talking about. Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. Is there anything about the prosecution's argument that you'd like to rebut? Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is. There is something the prosecution has yet to make clear to this court. Well, if you put it that way. What is it that the prosecution has failed to explain? Why the body was moved? They have failed to explain why Mr. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave his body in the rocket? Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge? Oh, that's true. I don't think we've heard the prosecution's thoughts on that yet. Excuse me. That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical? Maybe they do. Don't assume so quickly. The prosecution is claiming that the defendants moved the victim's dead body, but what if the entire premise of that argument is wrong? Then let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice. The defense proposes that the defendants didn't kill the victim, he was helping him. Ack! Silence. Fulbright, explain it for our sad friend here before I nod off to his monotone monologue. Inform him exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim. Spaceboy? Huh? They gotta be joking. It's simple. Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. Well, you know. He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make it to the security camera so there'd be a record. I wonder what the 50 on his shoulder means here. It seems to be connected to what looks like an oxygen bottle, but I'm not sure. Because if we could see the other one, is that an indication of the person being alive, maybe? I don't know, I'm not sure. There should be a way, I mean, don't they usually monitor the heart rate of astronauts in the first place anyway? At the very least, he appears to have achieved success with you and the old man. Yeah, well, you know. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship. The average person wearing a spacesuit weighs heavily over 200 pounds, saving the life of a partner who weighs as much, while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sob story fit for the silver screen. Indeed, I was completely taken in by the humanity of the story. You see, yet the true ending is that all traces of his hammy act were meant to be blown up. Hammy act. Yes, and now we arrived at the thrilling conclusion, the third explosion. Objection! What are you talking about? There was no third explosion.
Silence!
Snape style. Indeed, you are correct, but that is thanks to Detective Arm. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the lounge. The sealed coffin beside the witness stand, that would be a bomb transport case. We used that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the lounge. A bomb in the form of a most distasteful? Isn't it distasteful? I'm not sure. What? One on the second floor of the main building, one on the launch pad, and one in the lounge. The defendant planned to set off 3 firework displays. Fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated, for had it not, the victim's body and other vital evidence would surely have been immolated. Gag! Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me. It's like he's reading my mind. As it is still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, know that a peculiar item was found in one of Mr. Starbuck's pockets. Specifically, a bomb detonation switch. You found what? I suspect the defendants had no time to destroy such damning evidence. When the Space Center director and Detective Arms stumbled across the murder, so he thought to hide it in his pocket. Feeble brain that he is. No, Mr. Starbuck would never do anything like that. What's that? Yeah, he threw a blade, but what happened? Justice don't know. Open your eyes and see the truth. This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions. No, there has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be the truth. Still can't accept it. You'll believe in your client, come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself? It's like Black Quill's controlling the entire game. Yeah, it seemed like he was waiting for me to bring up the body moving issue. Why'd you know that? Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mr. Starbuck and break me down. Because he thinks that maybe that way you would be weakened, because otherwise you're just too strong. Be confident, he's scared of you now. That's twice he lost to you already. He doesn't want to lose a third time. Then making you cross-examine Mr. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan too. Totally underhanded, but I wouldn't expect anything less from him. Now let us hear from the arch-villain, the fiendish murderer himself. Famed astronaut, Solomon Starbuck. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen? Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony? No. Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. Well, why do you ask then? You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Tarn. Please testify to these allegations. Mind if I take this suit off? It's getting really heavy.
Silence.
It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but of your sins. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life. Banish me to the moon. I don't care anymore. Wow, that was super negative. Is he going to be alright up there? He'll be fine, I think. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is. And that would be pretty bad. I didn't kill him. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time we got the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay, I was trying to save him. So you assert you didn't set off the bombs with murder the victim. Ha 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 ha. But I bet you think I'm lying, right? I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony. I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut. I don't think the judge doubts that. Who'd wear a suit like that except an astronaut? Cosplayer? I will say that when I saw you in that movie, you appeared quite courageous, though I suppose reality never quite lives up to fantasy. It's getting on my nerves, him sighing like that all the time. I guess I'm just a big disappointment. I really don't care what happens anymore. Oh no, he's completely given up. No. Who did that? What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that annoying sighing of yours would rub off on the other inmates. Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Black Quill a second ago. Huh? That was Black Quill sighing? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can't be gun shy now. It's time to find out the truth. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. The explosion sparked a fire on the second floor of the main building and the middle level of the launch pad near the elevator. Wait, what?
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible. Was I not being accurate? No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall where the bomb went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right, which means you couldn't have taken that elevator. The Launchpad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words, Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. He's shy now. What's with the helmet? Alright, mission command, do you read me? Come in, please. He's losing it. This is mission command. I order you to pay attention. Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck. Ah, my helmet. Ah! My oxygen tank. Oxygen concentration and body temperature declining. Requesting medical assistance. Mr. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up. I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck, the astronaut. Yeah, he seemed more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that sighing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement and about how you used the middle level elevator? I was nervous. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route, I think. A different route? I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time. I'll get it right this time. Maybe. No, I mean, probably. Probably? It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, accuracy is paramount in court. Let's see, my escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably. With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right, there's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used that ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we could make our escape that way. And the capsule you mentioned, I suppose you mean the thing next to Mr. Terran here? Was the capsule that important that you'd risk your life to take it with you? It almost goes without saying, but yeah, that capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material. With a spacesuit on, Clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule was also important. I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mrs. Starbuck, please remember that your verdict is riding on your testimony. Ha ha ha. Maybe I am guilty after all. I wonder if he can see the stars in prison. Bet it's more comfortable than a spaceship. Let's see, my escape route. What I said before was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably. With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. So Mr. Starbuck escaped with clay and the capsule, which means it's just like in the footage. I can see why he couldn't run, though. He must have weighed over 200 pounds just by himself. Yeah, and he had to support Clay, who was another 200 pounds. Plus, he had to ensure the safety of that capsule. I don't think I could have even walked under those circumstances. Walking straight forward is probably about all I would have been able to manage. With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. Excuse me. I'm getting distracted. This one? Yeah, I think so.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth? The truth? Let's see. The Earth is blue? No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue. Yeah, that's it. The truth, Mr. Starbuck. Oh, the oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Prepare the emergency oxygen tanks. Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please help draw out the truth from him. Mrs. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding lounge via the upper level route. Huh? Not as long as this was along the escape route. What? Let me see, Oh, yeah, the ladder. This one.
Take that!
To get down from the upper to the middle level where the Launchpad 1 corridor is, you would have to go down the ladder, isn't that right, Mrs. Starbuck? Of course, that was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
But how would that work? At the time you were supporting Mr. Tarrant over your shoulder, were you not? Yeah, I mean, I just threw him off from the top of the ladder or something. And remember, he was in full space gear as well, putting him at over 200 pounds. Oh. Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
The explosion didn't happen on the moon, moron. The Space Center is located on Earth. Short of being an octopus, climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in your other, is impossible, wouldn't you say? Oh. So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down that ladder with your arms full? Mr. Starbuck, come clean and serve me coffee right now. Yeah, tell us the truth. Engineer, where's that engineer? Oxygen leak detected due to faulty maintenance. What the? He's flying the coop. Help! I'm caught on the ceiling. Help! Anyone! Bailiff, prepare the cherry picker. We must launch a rescue mission at once. Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I'd rather prove his innocence so he can go to space again someday for real. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna use the restroom. Can you give me a minute? And I'll be right back. Okie dokie. Get rid of that message. Alright. Mrs. Starbuck, would you please keep your feet planted on the ground or something, he asked. Yes, I apologize for losing control. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Tell the truth! What do you see? Not that. Anything but that. What is going on? This isn't the Mr. Starbuck I know. The pure space boy is prone to deception. Witness. Yikes! Yes! I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect. Prosecutor Black Quill, please don't talk about that. What are you talking about, Prosecutor Black Quill? Didn't I already state that Space Boy is ironically terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. For you see, traces of this anti-anxiety drug were found in his system. Oh, I sense things are about to nosedive. You got it all wrong. I told them during the investigation too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. Like, never ever in your life? Does that seem likely? It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it. How could that be? Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember, because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember about what really happened. Whoa! Order in the court. You can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything. Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing. Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember? I guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going into space. I'm not sighing like he does anymore. Maybe I really did do it? Which brings us to the answer of our original question. Of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body. It does? So what is it? A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints, just yes or no. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Hey, that's what I said earlier. I said it. I joked about it, but but that's actually that was actually a valid explanation. Oh my, I see. And then the defendant could climb down with his free hands. Objection. Drop the body down? Who would do such a disrespectable thing? A murderer? It makes sense, doesn't it? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself. So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct. Really? Oh, thanks. Ah! What is this? It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why. You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body. I am, for the fracture easily when struck.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the tank's explosion and shrapnel would leave its mark on the body. Yet according to the autopsy reports, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly grasping at straws with this line of reasoning.
Silence!
A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, just as no. It includes the latest technological devices and is made of the fabric of tomorrow. This fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few Earth yards would hardly leave a mark on the wearer. Then shouldn't it be impossible to stab someone through it as well? It should, and yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way to its target. Even we have body armor at work that protects us from being stabbed with knives. And they don't spend as much money on us as they do on astronauts. What are the chances? You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself with knowledge of how the suit works. He's got me there. And now my argument has been proven. Space Boy, killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped his body from the upper level. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded them. There's no room for a debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Tarrant. Ah! Here, the reports regarding the astronauts' oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river Styx. Ah! Oxygen tank data added to the court record. Hey, this report is pretty detailed. Okay. Let's see. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows how much oxygen remains. I'm sure this will be a hint at some point because it's way too visible in the first picture we got to not be used as a hint, as a piece of evidence later. I guess that means these glowing cyan digits represent the amount of oxygen remaining. I guess it's 50%? Maybe that's a percentage? We can't see it from that angle on the other dude. I'm done for. I'm going to prison instead of space. Space Boy. Yes. Take heart. The bejeweled night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through bars. You mean the stars as seen from prison? That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. That's not a half-bad thought. Mr. Starbuck, Prosecutor Blackquill got to him good. Spaceship prison cell, fly me, my guilt, and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then let's get sucked into a black hole together. He's lost it completely. Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope. Oh, yes, Apollo? Apollo is a fitting name for the lawyer of a spaceman. You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you are an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation. He said that? So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Tarrant. For Clay? You're wasting your breath. Okay. I'm not gonna yell like him, alright? Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Mr. Starbuck. I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right. We'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent. You'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. Rah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul. I'm on fire. I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. Yeah, right. This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Boulder Dash. The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me, Solomon Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. Who says 1? The audience? Lift off! It would actually be funny if he did lift off. No. He stayed right there. Well. Excuse me. Choking on my snack. I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Apollo, you did it! I did what? He's not proven innocent yet. You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck. Okay, yeah, I can't take the credit. It was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. I won't allow a Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice. Think. If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. Yeah, well. Excuse me a second. Can we watch it? No, not really. Okay, anyway. The only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now let's see about this data that we just received. It supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body in Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that false, then there must be something I can use here. Enough of this farce, your boldness. Let's have your verdict. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now, it says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Taryn had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report? It says 50 in the video. Of course. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty as evidence goes. You would explain what you mean, Justice Dono? It's simple, this evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean. I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. Yes, Your Honor, right away. Well, the video itself, right? Yeah, this one shows 50. Not 80. And how does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here. The display. Make sure you point at it correctly. Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Taryn. It appears to say 50. Hello there, Morgan. How's it going? It appears to say 50, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. The oxygen in the tank increased. I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there is a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here?
Silence.
Followed you before, but somehow I unfollowed. I hope you're well. Yeah, I am well, thank you. Bit tired by early morning shifts lately, but otherwise doing well. How about you? I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse.
Objection!
Objection!
Also a little tired? Ah well. It's a widespread thing, I guess. Ah, you're okay. Ah, good. Going to bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new information is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence. Silence, peasant.
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysteriously increasing oxygen? You'd better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction. Prosecutor Blackquill has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? You look well to me and still super cute. Thank you. You really want to play this game? I believe the 3DS version might become complicated to get your hands on now that the... Well, I don't know if it's already... if they've already taken down the eShop on the 3DS, or if it's something that's about to happen still. But on Android, it's still available, though. A bit expensive, I think, for an Android game, as Android games go, but, well... I kinda wish they would just re-release the trilogy of the Apollo Justice game and the other two that were on 3DS on Switch. It was rumored to happen at one point, but... Well... Do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Of course I can. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mrs. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. How come? Did he swap the oxygen tank of the dead person for his own? Like Clay at 80 left, his was down to 0. So he swapped them around, which meant that the one from the other guy was 0 and his was a little bit higher. I don't know. I'm not sure how to reason this. But no, I mean... Yeah, no, okay, hold on. Did you play the other game first? Depends which other game, singular, you mean. I've played them chronologically, by the order of their release. I've played all the Ace Attorney games up to this one, shall we say. And I have not played Spirit of Justice yet. But I've played the two great Ace Attorney games, though. Those that take place in the distant past. But yeah, the original trilogy, Apollo Justice, and the Miles Edgeworth Investigations games, I've played those. Yeah, and streamed them, actually. I streamed them all. Mrs. Starbuck has no memory of it, but claims to have carried clay. So this man with the 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But no, it's the other guy, maybe. That's what he means by flipping his thinking around. If anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen level increase, but what had to have happened to make it look like it increased. Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here? Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. The victim was carrying the defendant. Yeah, that's the one. What if it was the other way around? The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mrs. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. It was what? Order! Order! Mr. Justice! You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Terran? It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right, there's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. He lost his life expanding his oxygen because it was heavy to carry the other guy around, maybe. But if the other guy was passed out, his breathing would be more slow and calm, I guess. So he wouldn't consume oxygen nearly as fast, I don't know. I have no idea. This means Mr. Tarrant was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence, peasant.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at this point in time. How did he descend the ladder with his arms full?
Objection!
Objection! Prosecutor Blackquill, you can't hurt me with a broken blade. Excuse me? He's using the same kind of expressions as he does, I suppose. It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating. But we have proven that Mr. Tarrant was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims, and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene. But can we truly trust their statements? Let's see, the two people were Detective Candace Arm and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. Investigation time? It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene. Score! Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Arm to the stand? Hold it. Him? I have an announcement, everyone. What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here. Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused. Diffused? Is that how you spell it? But, it's about to explode. That's not how you spell it, is it? I'm not sure. Hold on. Wait, what? That's not how you spell it, I think. Defuse or diffuse? Yeah, that's what I had in mind, right? This game has quite a few spelling errors so far. Diffuse is both a verb and an adjective and refers to the spreading of something or making it less concentrated. Defuse functions only as a verb and means to remove the fuse from something. Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought. Alright. Jeez, proofread that shit before you release it. Explode! A bomb? Now? Everybody run! Eek! I don't want to die! Oh no, everybody's panicking!
Silence.
Silence! Headless chickens with a death wish, the lot of you, calm yourselves before all else. Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here! But what about Mr. Starbuck's dream? And who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow the truth up farther. I refuse to let things end here. Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. Come on, this way. Hey, ouch, let me go. Apollo, Juniper, she hasn't evacuated yet? Eek. Juniper, are you alright? Apollo, no, this way. Okay. To be continued, yeah, I thought so. Save game. In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. This one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. Yeah, that was the first case you play in the game. You have a hat like that? Like who? Like Juniper? We managed to clear Miss Woods' name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Tetanate. Whoops. Hold on. People? A hat like hers, I guess you mean. Athena's childhood friend. I defended her when she was on trial for the courtroom bombing incident. Okay. Back out. Wright Anything Agency. Apollo is a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him. Yeah, poor guy. Being attacked by Tetanate like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo is resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. I've had some experience with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land in a hospital of all places. You must miss him too, huh? Now that you don't have anybody to tease. Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy. He looked so down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels much like celebrating. Alright, enough of this, people! This is no time to be moping around. Now dry those eyes, both of you. You're the only one who's crying, Athena. Technicalities. Look, we have work to do. We have to take over. Take over what exactly? Apollo Space Center case. Apollo Space Center. As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance. I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade. Right, Daddy? Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know. Let Phoenix take the case. I want to play as Phoenix. Good, now that that's settled, let's get going. Come on, we gotta run. Wait, right now? Right now? We'd better not be running the whole way. There she goes, I better go catch up. Can you take care of the office, Trucy? Sure thing, Daddy. Let's be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm going to bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you. Stop talking about your magic panties, damn it! There are like a million wrong ways you could take that out of context. Jeez. Fill your magic panties. Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. Can always count on Athena to perk everybody up with her enthusiasm. Oh, she's back. Don't mind me, just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, etc, etc. Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that too. Alright, you two, let's be careful out there. Okay, no more mentions of the magic panties. Alright. December 19th, Detention Center, Visitor's Room. So our client is one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous, even I've heard of him. That's right, he's a super famous astronaut who works at the Cosmos Space Center. He's actually up in outer space. He was actually up in outer space 7 years ago. You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Apollo told me all about you. You're Phoenix Wright, Apollo's mentor, right? Yes, that's right. Mentor has a nice ring to it. Don't worry about a thing, Mrs. Starbuck. Mr. Wright and I have got you covered. Ah, and you're the new kid that Apollo told me about. Wait, don't I know you from somewhere? Huh? You mean other than at your trial? I don't think so. I guess so. My mistake. What? Because she has moon-shaped, crescent moon-shaped earrings, maybe that's what that reminds him of? My memory isn't what it used to be. My mind and body are kaput. Same goes for my life. I mean, I'm so astronomically unlucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft. Yikes, he seriously got to stop depressing himself, or I'll be the one getting depressed. Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides, that thing you said about entering the stratosphere, that just means we'd shine like shooting stars, right? Like shooting stars, huh? You know, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's what we're all put on this earth to do, right? To shine like stars. Guess I shouldn't mention the fact that shooting stars burn out in a flash. Oh yeah, here we go! 3, 2, 1! To the stratosphere and beyond! Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want. Is that really all it takes? Okay. Hey, buddy, check this out. Pretty cool, huh? So what do you think about this? The evidence is gonna get me convicted. No, it's my attorney's patch. I was hoping it would reassure you that we're here to defend you. Evidence isn't just for the prosecution. It can help prove a person's innocence, too. Hahaha, that's a positive spin on things. I thought that was common knowledge. Apparently not. Okay, talk. The case. So you have no memory at all of the incident? I'm so ashamed. My memory of the time is as black as clouded as a dark nebula. Still, it's strange you don't remember a thing. Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills like they said at the trial? You got it all wrong. I told them during the investigation too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It is true, I developed a fear of space because of what happened 7 years ago, and I was taking medication secretly every now and then when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know? Oh, the so-called At-1 miracle. That must have been a terrifying experience. But I'm still an astronaut at heart, come what may. I would never take drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. That's more certain than the theory of relativity. He seems like a completely different person now. This is the face of the astronaut I know. But the tranquilizers were found in your system. Oh. Yes, see, that's the thing, but I don't know why. I'm done for. If you didn't take them, then maybe somebody slipped them to you. Exactly, that's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anybody could have gotten their hands on it. Maybe the real culprit also planted the detonator switch in your pocket. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed. I'll say, they even managed to plant your print on the switch before slipping it in. It's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small, like about the murder weapon, for example. That knife. I think it came from one of the Space Center's utility kits. Utility kits? Yeah, staff who work on machinery a lot are given these special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I doubt you could prove whose knife it is. Utility knife updated in the court record, okay. The Hat-1 or HAT-1, I don't know, miracle. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right? That's right, it was a pretty rough experience. During that mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft. You did? What kind of problems? Power failure, oxygen leakage, busted radio, cracked windows, loose control column. Control column. Yeah, I'm sure that's how that works. It's like on a car or something. It's a space car. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I think you'd burn if that was the case. I thought I was a goner. But I managed to make it somehow with the popsicles and ice packs from the freezer. No wonder they dubbed it the Hat One Miracle. It's a miracle you made it back. Space is a boundless place. That's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. The darkness just goes on and on forever and ever and ever without end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was gonna come save me. I was all alone. All alone with nothing to listen to but the sound of my own breathing and the heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking. An experience like that would make anybody afraid to go up into space. Outer space. With the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission? What? No way, of course not. Even now I want to go up into space so bad I can barely stand it. I want to shake off the Earth's gravity at escape velocity and spin around weightless. But you have to admit it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even a tiny bit afraid? I was afraid, of course I was. Still am, but space is man's final frontier, an unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere. The cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life. No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage. If I give in to fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight. Sorry. One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniably the real deal. The victim. The victim, Clay Tarrant. He was kind of like your protege, wasn't he? Well, it wasn't a big exaggerated deal like master and apprentice or anything like that, but Clay did think of me as his mentor. The mentor and the protege, what a combination they must have been. With his encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now... Clay must have been very encouraging, huh? Yeah, it's funny really. Whenever I'd hear him shout, "You're fine," I've got something stuck in my throat. I need something to drink. Or I just won't stop having a itchy throat like that. I need to drink, sorry. Be right back. Okay, excuse me. Hopefully that passes, because it's really annoying. and I'll stop snacking on these things. Okay. I always got the feeling everything really was gonna be just fine. You're fine? Apollo says I'm fine, and you're fine all of the time too. And I always feel encouraged too whenever I hear him shout it. Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, ever since they were high school kids. One day out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my protege. Hey, whoa, hey, Panda, how's it going? Those two hung around the Space Center so much they were like a part of the staff. One time during Zero-G training, I started to panic a little bit, and the two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine," over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. Great, how are you? A little bit tired by the early morning shifts. I have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning every morning these days, and this gets to me. I don't like early morning shifts. They are the most interesting work-wise, but they're the hardest for me to get up early. I'm not a morning person. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. So I'm fine, and you're fine. We're like Apollo and Clay's secret faces, huh? I wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and their relationship now. Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder? Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine. But you actually did climb down that ladder, so a way has to exist. From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell. Don't they have like kind of jetpacks to slow down their descent or something? I don't know. They're space suits. But yeah, but I guess suits to go out on the moon's surface, or suits that are used for spacewalks, are not the same kind of thing. Because for spacewalks, they do have these things that have like little boosters to boost themselves around. And I guess that you wouldn't be able to boost yourself up against gravity. It's useful for Zero-G, but not for not for flying around on Earth. Probably not. But that prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad. Through barred windows. Don't believe him! Don't listen to him! Okay, excuse me. You're fine. Solomon Soul Starbuck is fine. Everything is going to be alright. Huh? And Athena Sykes is fine. Come on, Mr. Wright. You too. Do I really have to? Phoenix Wright is fine. I can't hear you. Phoenix Wright is fine. We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence and have faith in us. Apollo believed in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'll put my faith in you. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need first is a not guilty verdict. It sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and then that we're all fine. Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started pronto. Good idea. Let's go. Talk. No. Okay. Shall we move to the entrance? December 19th, Cosmos Space Center entrance. Just a second while I check something. I'd like to see just about how long this... yeah, I probably won't be finishing the investigation part today, I think. But I'll push it as far as I can, though, for today. Wow, I was wondering what kind of place the Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future. Yeah, did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so, check it out. Look at how brightly the Gyaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. that thing in the middle of the Gyaxa thing there, that kind of reminds me of the Star Trek little like thing that they have on their clothes or something. I'm not a Trekkie, so I wouldn't know. Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Yeah, but why the strange acronym? I mean, what is GIA supposed to stand for? Galaxy? If that were it, then the whole thing would be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency. Which, if you ask me, I'd have abbreviated to GAXA or even Gaia. I guess so. Oh, I know, maybe the person who came up with the name just really likes the letter Y. This exchange is beginning to feel oddly like deja vu. Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility. It's also a tourist attraction. Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. It's a monument to the human race. Galactic shooter, full speed ahead. Oh my. Oh my. Yikes, who's this geezer and what's he want? He reminds me of a character, maybe from Space Captain Harlock or something like that. No? I don't know. He's a spitting image of someone I know from an anime, but, or maybe, hold on. Maybe... Hold on. Yeah, no, okay, no, he doesn't look exactly like him because he's got gray hair and the other guy has a black mustache. No, that's not him. I was thinking of Captain Nemo from Fushigi no Umi no Nadia. Nadia, the Secret of Blue Water. It's an anime. But no, that's not it. Well, whatever. Look upon me and look well. Behold the great power of space science. Pardon me, but you are? My glorious name is Yuri Cosmos. I am the director of the Cosmos Space Center, the center of the cosmos. Boss, that was pretty groan-inducing. If this person is the Space Center's director, then that means... Aha, so you were one of the first to discover Clay's body, weren't you? And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were two of them. The Space Center director, Yuri Cosmos, and Detective Candace Arm. And that is correct. I was honored to be the very first man in all of space and time to discover the body. But this talk of the incident, are you by any chance the space police? You can't tag the word space onto just any old thing, you know? Why not? Batman does the same thing with bat. The bat letter, the shark-repelling bat spray, and so on and so forth. The bat credit card. That was cringe though. The bat credit card. You can't tag the word space onto any old thing, you know. We're Mr. Starbucks lawyers. We're here to investigate his case. Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way. Ah, I see. Yes, I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you are appropriately grateful. Now go ahead, have at it. I can already tell it's going to be nothing but trouble. Don't let him hear you say that, or you'll see what trouble really is. Let's just be professional and ask him about when he found the body, okay? Yuri Cosmos, tell us about yourself. So, as director, what do you do here at the Space Center, specifically? Defend peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacles stand in our way, we keep going for the sake of mankind. I believe I used the word specifically in my question. I need to check again. I feel like I've seen someone who looks very much like him somewhere. Well, not Captain Harlock himself, but... Or maybe Space Battleship Yamato something? No, that was also a similar anime. Space Battleship Yamato, yeah. Characters. I've never watched it, but I know the name. Juzo Okita? Yeah, kind of, actually. He kind of looks like him. Except the other one has a bigger beard. But he's like a space captain of sorts, I suppose. Yeah. If you want to look it up... what's his name again? What did I just say? Juzo Okita. From Space Battleship Yamato. Yeah, that's kind of it. Attention all personnel to your break stations. Prepare for break. Oh, I get it. You just wander around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner. That is exactly right. Because I am an important man, my manner is important. Mr. Wright, this man doesn't get sarcasm. Well, there's bound to be some people like that here in the boundlessness of space. What's that? You want to know what it is that makes me important specifically? Very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure of the Hat 1 project. You may proceed to be appropriately impressed. Now go ahead, have at it. I might be more impressed if I knew what he did for it specifically. About the bombing. Could you tell us what you know about the incidents from the other day? I refuse. What? Explaining is a job for common folk, not the director of the center of the cosmos. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom. Sounds like some prosecutor was here before us. What? So does that mean you'll be taking the stand tomorrow? That is correct. I will be the most glorious witness in the history of mankind. I'm not sure if he really understands what being a witness is all about. Looks like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about. Then let's at least try to ask him about the things he might be willing to open up about. About Hat 1. The Hat 1 was a rocket that was launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite numerous problems, it somehow made its way back home. Well, rockets don't! Well, unless it's like SpaceX or that sort of thing. But I don't think we had rockets like that, or even envisioned rockets like that, back when this game first released. What year was that? 2012? 2013? I'm not sure. I suppose it is part of my job to educate ignorant young folk like you. Very well, I will impart to you the complete story of the Hat 1 project. Oh, thank you very much. I guess. Hat 1's noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid, and Mr. Starbuck was the pilot for that flight. Eventually, the Hat 1 reached its planned orbit, from where it launched the Hope probe toward the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. You don't need to send people into space to send probes up there, though. Just saying. Then after a terrifying struggle, the Hat 1 returned safely to Earth. Rockets don't need pilots! That struggle was when the incident known as the Hat 1 miracle occurred, right? Correct. And it truly was a miracle. Of course, they just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. As for the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination. It obtained a few samples from the asteroid and returned to Earth but a few days ago. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them? The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. Regrettably, we have had no time to inspect the samples due to everything that has occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years. That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just a loudmouthed braggart after all. In the golden age of space development, our predecessors were successful in bringing a moon rock back. That is the greatest achievement in the history of the Space Center. The public fell in love with space and all of its glorious potential. A moon rock, huh? I remember that being big. Our endeavors with the moon rock lives on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hopes and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. That is my mission as the man who stands on the center of the cosmos. I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there. What? Bite your tongue, it's not for anything so base as money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind and all for my illustrious mission. With the recent budget cuts, my staff tells me finances are tight, but I won't hear it. I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena. Well, you know, I thought I'd better brush up for the case. Is that so? Well, I will be on my way. As you can see, I am a very busy and very important man. Galactic Scooter! Fire up the main engine, max battle speed, and engage! And with that, he's gone, I guess. That thing is surprisingly fast. I guess we'd better get going, too. You bet, let's make it so. Alright then, where to next? Boarding lounge. What's with the thing back there in the background? An alien creature? How are they so, like, not serious in this place? You'd think scientific people working on rockets and stuff would not waste any budget on this. So this is where Mr. Terran was murdered. Yeah, this is the lounge. Let's see that diagram the police made again. Right now we're in the main building here on the right side on the 3rd floor. Clay and Mrs. Starbuck fled here from launch pad 1 after the explosion. You there, no admittance without express permission. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We've come to investigate. Sorry, nobody gets in without permission. Not even the police superintendent. Can't have Detective Fulbright getting mad at me. Right. Let's see. So Detective Fulbright is here, huh? Yeah, he's in the launch pad 1 corridor. Go get clearance from him and then we'll talk. Leave it to me. I'm great at getting intel out of Detective Fulbright. Let's see. What trick should I use on him today? I don't know if I should be grateful or afraid. So to get to the launch pad 1 corridor, we just have to go through that door with the blue rocket on it, I think. Wait, that door. It looks awfully familiar. Yeah, we have it on in a photo or something in the case record or something. No. There was a picture that looked like it. Yeah, this one. What is it? Launch pad 1 door lock. Ah, okay. That's it. Biometric door, etc., etc., etc. Good eye there, boss. Ah, it's this one. Okay. This is the door Clay and Mrs. Starbuck used during their escape from the launch pad. Ah, that explains it. The fingerprint system has been deactivated, so I think we can just pass through. Now, come on, let's go. Okay, talk. What to do? Athena Sykes is fine. Huh? What was that all about? I thought I'd better get fired up twice as much to make up for Apollo being gone. For starters, I thought I'd imitate him. So you were doing a voice workout, huh? Yup, you have to push your voice up from the pit of your stomach. Hold it! There's a contradiction in the witness's statement. You're really serious about this. Objection! You are lying. The true culprit is the judge. What? Then who's going to hand down the verdict? Oh, I didn't think of that. Any ideas? So what do you think we should do next? Oh, that's right. What is it, Athena? I just remembered. I forgot to go running today. I was so taken up with what happened to Apollo, it slipped my mind. That wasn't what I was asking. Wah, 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 wah. No, move. Move to the Launchpad 1 corridor. What's with the robots cleaning now? Jeez. Even in space, safety first. So this is it, huh? I suppose. What? Excuse me. Okay. So this is it, huh? This is the corridor the two of them used in their escape. Yep. This is the only thing connecting Launchpad 1 with the main building. I see police tape down on the other end. Guess we won't be looking at the launch pad. After the explosion, this whole corridor must have been filled with smoke. And the launch pad itself was probably a sea of flames. Must have been pretty scary for them. Now, where could Detective Fulbright be? Hey, I think that's him over there. What should I do? Which path is the path of justice? He seems to be lost. That's funny. This corridor is a straight shot. Huh? Ah, it's you lawyer people. Welcome to the Space Center. Enjoying a relaxing day off, are you? Here for a little rocket sightseeing? We're here to investigate the scene, same as you. Do you have any info to share? Boss, if he acts at all reluctant to give us information, we hit him with the whatever shall we do act. I'm sure he'll fall for it. Got it. Are we trying to catch the unruly family dog here or something? Info on the case, huh? Alright, I'll gladly share some with you. That was easy. Huh? What just happened? Detectives and lawyers seeking truth and justice side by side. I like it. Just take whatever you want from me, you info bandit. I'm in a generous mood today. I don't know, there's something weird about Detective Fulbright today. Well, we need information, so let's run with it. If you say so. Talk. The crime scene. Detective Fulbright, could you give us permission to investigate the crime scene? There's an officer on guard and we can't get in. Oh, whatever shall we do? That's an easy one. I'll let them know over there to let you in. Investigate to your heart's content. Take a week if you need it. A month even. Shall I have some snacks delivered? One of my men gives a mean neck rub. No, that's okay, but thanks. Definitely not the Fulbright I know. Detective Fulbright is acting sickeningly sweet. It's kind of gross, actually. It's the lack of oxygen. We're in space. Do you think he hit his head or something? Who knows? Whatever the case, it's making our lives way easier. What happened exactly? You were here at the Space Center at the time of the incidents, weren't you, Detective? That's right, I was here on a security assignment. The police are required to secure rocket launches now? I didn't know that. Yes, well, you know us, to serve and protect, ha 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 ha. The explosions occurred while I was here on duty, so I started leading the evacuation. He's leaving out a lot of details, but okay. Could you tell us more about what happened? Of course, a bomb went off on the second floor of the main building. Right after that, the one over in Launchpad 1 also blew sky high. Gonna fly sky high, let's go together. So I immediately instructed the visitors and the employees to evacuate the shelter. The shelter? That's right, there's an evacuation shelter in the basement of the Space Center. It's there for accidents and emergencies and the like. So where were you when the first bomb went off? I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. The elevator wasn't working on account of the explosion, and the stairs on the 2nd floor were destroyed, so we couldn't go that way. Then wasn't it impossible to get down to the basement shelter? No, we lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. It was a folding ladder, so it wasn't very stable, but at least it reached the ground. After I secured the ladder, I left to take another look around for any survivors. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to the shelter. Wow, what an ordeal, but climbing down an emergency ladder kinda sounds fun. Thank you for your answers, Detective. They were very helpful. Just a moment, I have some more information to share with you. But don't tell Prosecutor Blackwell, okay? Why are you telling us then? Wow, and Prosecutor Blackwell usually has you on a short leash too. Well, never mind that. Haha, I thought you should know that there was a witness. Who's the witness? Could you tell us more about this witness? Sure thing. The witness was a Space Center employee who was on the 4th floor. While she was climbing down, she looked through a window into the 3rd floor lounge. So she was looking into the crime scene from the outside? That's right. It was just a matter of chance that she saw something important. Not that I know what she saw exactly yet, though. You don't? But that's the most important thing of all. Don't you worry, I'll get around to interviewing her soon enough. She should still be somewhere here in the Space Center. You might even run into her. Excuse me. Wah, 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 wah. Okay. Okay, a 4th floor employee, huh? Alright, thanks for the info, Detective Fulbright. Gee, you sure are being cooperative, Detective. A little too cooperative, even. Yes, well, actually, something you can't talk about? Yes, something like that. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about me. Well, I'll be on my way now. Wah, 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 wah. Okie dokie, people. What was that all about? Something is definitely going on. I'm going to get it out of him the next time I see him. Okay. I'm not so sure he'll talk about it, though. Well, we have permission to investigate now. Let's head back to the boarding lounge. Move. Boarding lounge. Ah, you too. Detective Fulbright has granted you permission to investigate. He also said I should bring you some snacks or give you a neck rub too, if you'd like. That's alright, but thank you for the offer. Well, time to roll up our sleeves and start investigating. Now let's see, where's that diagram again? So this lounge is on the 3rd floor of the main building, and according to Apollo, this is where he believes a third party killed his friend. Well, let's stop the recap and start looking for traces of the third person then. You read my mind, Athena. We'll make that our first priority. There's just one problem though, this room. It's just so big. Don't worry, we can use this to help us. Space Center pamphlet for tourists? Yup. Picked it up at the entrance, the maps inside should come in handy. Let's see, yup, here it is, a map of the lounge. This is the door we went through to talk to Detective Fulbright. Oh yeah, that's the door with the fingerprint recognition lock. Well, I guess this map will make things a little easier. Space Center pamphlet added to the court record. Yeah, no more excuses. Let's track down the third person. Wait, there's just one more thing. What's that strange creature moving around outside the window? Oh, boss, it's just a holographic image. Oh yeah, I knew that. Dude, that's a relief. That still sounds like expensive technology. For something that should be focusing its budget into sending people to space, you know? instead of wasting money into impressive looking stuff, but that's... Well, I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't make any sense to me. There should be a button somewhere in this room to turn the image on and off. That's what it says in the pamphlet anyway. The only reason you're so eager to start is so that you can push that button, isn't it? And what's wrong with that? Let's just look for the button while we're looking for clues. Alright, fine. Let's get investigating. Whoops. That's some pretty futuristic looking furniture over there. According to the pamphlet, those are no ordinary chairs. They're like amusement park teacup rides. You can power them yourself, it says. If you spin the table, your chair spins too. Why would anybody want to have something like that here? It's for astronauts who have trouble with the device on the seating. No vertical spins. It says it's a training device that's easy on the eyes and on the body. Can a person really call themselves an astronaut if they can't handle 0G? What's that? Nothing special here. A screen? A window, and it's right next to the holographic image too. I bet it's here to help people see the stark contrast between reality and virtual reality. Way off! It says emergency ventilation, you know, to clear smoke from a fire. See, it's pointing out the virtual insanity of reality. Virtual insanity. Futures made of virtual insanity. At first glance, it looks like a peaceful landscape, but then there's that creature. Didn't the Hope probe go to some planet? Maybe this is what its surface looked like. I doubt it. Asteroids, not planets. I don't know. I think it would have made the news if they discovered a creature like that. It did make quite a bit of news, though, when the probe came back. Yeah, but the Hope probe didn't even go to a planet. It went to an asteroid. A dead rock. It's a big rock kind of thing. Even aliens can't live there. I want to believe. Ah, no! Ah! Okay. So this is where they discovered Clay. Yeah, he was already dead when they found him. Let's take a look at the photo. So he was stretched out like this and... what's that thing that looks like a thermos? That's the thing that Prosecutor Blackwell mentioned when he was in court with Apollo. He said that it contains asteroid samples. Oh, right. Director Cosmos mentioned something about that too, didn't he? That they were brought back only 5 days ago by the probe that the Hat One launched. I wonder what they look like. Do you think they'll let us see? Let's think about that after we've solved the case, okay? So it looks like there are 3 doors that lead in and out of this room. Well, let's check. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! The Space Center pamphlet. We're here at this place that says Boarding Lounge 1. Here are the 3 doors. Let's call them lefty, righty, and downy. People usually say west, east, and south in a case like this, you know. Details, details. Anyway, take a look at the west door. That door with the rocket icon leads to Launchpad 1. I know because it says here on the map, Launchpad 1 corridor. So that's where we were with the detective. It was filled with smoke after the explosion. Right. Next up, the right-hand side of the map, or east in your world. That's the door with the satellite dish icon to signify communication, aka the control room. That's weird. Oh, never mind. Hold on. Maybe if I... but no, I wasn't supposed to do that. There's a program I need to launch. Excuse me. F11. Yeah, that thing. Okay. F11. There we go. Okay. Ah, no. Okay, there's a little thing I don't understand here, but... yeah. The last follow to the account doesn't seem to show on the stream, and that's not normal. Why? Well, whatever. If I can't change that. Whatever, excuse me. So it's the center of the Space Center, if you will. Does everybody start to talk like Director Cosmos after they've been here for a while? But it seems that they built a new command center on the 6th floor. That's what they used for the HAT 2 mission, so this control room was empty at the time. I've always wanted to see the inside of a mission control room, and since we're here, I'd love to do that too, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to. They want to keep curious kids like you out. So the door is protected with fingerprint recognition, only the director can go through. With that much security, I'm definitely blah 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 blah. So apparently the lock is also hooked up to a backup generator in case of emergencies. Control room door lock added to the court record, okay? Okay, what about that last door? This lower door, or excuse me, I mean south door, it leads to the elevators. Uh-huh. This is the door we came through when we entered this room, right? Yep, and of course there was no fingerprint recognition device, so it's open to anyone. But the elevators weren't working at the time due to the explosion. Well, that's about it for the 3 Muscadors and the boarding lounge. Thanks. Understanding the layout of the lounges should help us understand the case. That's why I thought we'd better have a grasp of where all the doors go. Okay, that thing on the ceiling I wanted to check. No matter how I look at it, all I can think of is torture device. But I guess it's a training device for getting used to zero gravity. Uh-oh, Ethna has a glint in her eye. Is she thinking about trying that thing out? I should try to stop her, but I'm afraid she'll just out-muscle me. Hey, Mr. Wright, look at that up there. Some kind of fragment? It's stuck in tight. Oh, so that's what the glint was all about. The color looks familiar. I think it's part of an oxygen tank. I think you're right. But if that's here, it means Clay's tank ruptured after they arrived at the boarding lounge. So Prosecutor Blackwell's theory that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay down the ladder must be wrong. This proves that both of the astronauts were alive when they reached the boarding lounge. So Apollo was right. The scene of the murder wasn't the launch pad. Hee, way to go, Apollo. If that's so important, why are you not talking about it at greater length? Ah, well. The camera. Yeah. Okay. This must be the security camera that recorded the astronauts making their escape. Oh, let's commemorate this occasion with love and peace. If you're done now, shall we move on? Yeah, okay. Just one more time. One more for the road. Peace! Very mature. Okay, there's the store. What's that thing here? What's that? Here. Hey, what's that? Here's another amazing piece of equipment. To walk on the surface of the moon, it says. Ah, yeah, it's a thing that simulates lower gravity. Oh boy, I want to try it. Gravity is weak on the moon, so I bet I could do mid-air somersaults. We're still on Earth, remember? Besides, it's connected to the ceiling. Well, at least I could jump really high. There's a sign on the wall that very clearly says, don't jump too high. Then what good is this thing? Didn't I say in the beginning, walk on the surface of the moon? No. I just looked at it. I don't want to look at it a second time. Danger. What's that thing? Hey, there's a glint. Down there. Hey, I see something shiny down there. Let's take this cover off then. What's this? It looks like a metal jelly bean. It's really small, but it's a bullet. It's only about 2 to 3 millimeters in diameter. 2 to 3 millimeters in diameter? Yeah, it's a very small caliber. How is that possible? Let's see what that would make the caliber .10. What's that? .10 inch? Caliber refers to the diameter of a gun's barrel, right? Yes, but I've never heard of a .10 caliber gun before. This bullet must be for a special kind of gun. I bet if you tried firing a bullet this small with a regular sized gun, it would just fall right out. Yeah, it must have been a really small gun. I wonder how the bullet ended up here. I mean, we're in the bottom left on the south door side of the room, according to this map. That's pretty far from where Clay's body was. Maybe the police didn't think to look here. Yeah, leave it to Detective Fulbright to accidentally hand us just the card we need. Bullet added to the court record, okay. This here? What's this, a trapdoor? It's a trash chute. The cleaning robots throw the garbage out from here. The robots do the cleaning. What a futuristic world we live in. I just hope they don't revolt like they do in science fiction movies. No way, all the robots here are very nice. Actually, wasn't there one in the Launchpad 1 corridor? You can go say hi to it if you want. The sign? No. This thing? No. I think that's it. For this corner. This I already looked at. Oh, can I look at that? A bright purple sky, plenty of greenery, and a tranquil lake. The idyllic? How do you pronounce that? Idyllic? It's almost dark out and the children are still playing outside. Oh well. Pronunciation. Idyllic. Idyllic, okay. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's different in British English. Idyllic? Idyllic in British English and idyllic in American English. Okay. Huh. The idyllic scene stretches on as far as the eye can see. It's beautiful, but it lacks something to make it truly captivating. Alright, I guess all that's left is by that door. What's that red thing? I wonder what this big knob is for. It looks like the knob on the stove. Well, it's the same shape, but I think that's where the similarities end. I mean, it's behind a glass pane. What kind of stove would require knob security like this? Well, the knob is straight up and down, so if it was for a stove, the burner would be off. Right, if it was for a stove. Still, I wonder what it's really for. Something turned on by a knob that's not a stove? How about a rocket engine? If you had to start the engine here, the rocket would take off before you could get in. And I guess all we can say for now is that it's a mystery knob. No! The thing right next to it. Come on! Yeah, that here. So this is the fingerprint recognition device. I guess you put your hand on this hand mark. Well, I guess when you can try now to line my hand up with the outline. Don't, Athena, this thing is related to the case. Get your prints all over that, and the next thing you know, you'll be named a suspect. Well, how can you be so cruel to a little girl like me? I'm not buying those tears, Missy. Let's see, this door is... Where is that pamphlet? It's the Launchpad 1 corridor. Jeez, you don't need an explanation for everything. Here we are. It's the door to the corridor that leads to Launchpad 1. We went through it earlier but when we went to talk to Detective Fulbright. So I guess the security lock must be disengaged now, right? They say the corridor was filled with smoke at the time of the bombing. This thing beside the door, this must be the fingerprint recognition device. Which reminds me, I think Prosecutor Blackwell talked about it at the trial. The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the lounge, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. Then does this mean that the bomber's prints were verified by the system? But the number of authorized personnel was supposed to be really small. Voila! Fingerprint powder! I brought it just in case something like this came up. I found it at the office. I've been just itching for a chance to use it. Wow, way to think ahead. Now let's dust the fingerprint recognition device and see what we can find. You got it. Now to sprinkle some here and a little over there and... Whoomp. Let's see what we have here. Oh, we got something. Oh, it's only a single set of prints. Isn't that a good thing? Sure wish we could figure out whose prints these are. Although I doubt we'll be so lucky as to get the culprit's prints on the first try. Well, I'm willing to bet that Detective Fulbright has some fingerprint data. Right, and there's the security footage of this door too. Yes, here it is. It came up in court the other day. I wish we could see the part of the footage just after this bit. Oh, because that would be right before the murder, wouldn't it? Let's ask the detective. With the mood he's in, he'll probably show it to us right away. Yeah, he's in almost too good of a mood today. Let's go see if we can find him again once we're done with this room. Well, am I done with this room now? Okay, probably not. This angle I haven't checked yet. Space seat. There's something here. A game console. There's some kind of panel with 2 buttons on it here. Just push it. That's the invariable principle of buttons. There are such things as buttons left unpushed. Oh, it's the remote. Hey, the giant holographic image disappeared. Yeah, though that side of the wall seems kind of barren without it now. Still, let's see if we can't find anything new with the image off. I guess I'm gonna have to look at that after then. So does that mean I've checked everything? No, not the pods. These are apparently oxygen capsules. They're for recovery after a training session. I wonder if they can change your voice. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Huh? It didn't do a thing. It's not helium, Athena. It's oxygen. This one's locked. There's some kind of window here. Oh, a mirror. How thoughtful of them to put one here. Thoughtful? So the ladies can fix their makeup. One's appearance is just as important in space as it is on Earth, you know? You never know when you're going to run into some other life form after all. I doubt anybody with things like that would ever become an astronaut in the first place. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da, 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 da-da. With the holographic image off, the screen is completely black, which for some reason makes me think of losing an argument to Prosecutor Blackwell in court. But at least it's got my brain revved up. I come up with my best ideas at times like these. What, that's it? It said that it might show me something important, but it didn't. Am I done with this place? It didn't say anything. Or can I change the image to something else? Okay. Did it turn it back on? Yeah, it did. Yeah, but hold on, because there seems to be a crack in the window here, no? I know. What is it then? I know it's a spider web, I guess. In the tree, okay. Well, in the hologram of the tree, anyway. Well, am I done with this room or not? Usually the game will tell me. Hold on. Ah, no, wait. I need to look at the screen in that corner when it is dark, I suppose. Hold on. That's it. Okay, there we go. Hey, Mr. Wright, take a look at this. Looks like a bullet hole. Great find, Athena. It's pretty big. Whoever fired this shot must have been using a pretty large gun. You think so? Based on my experience, I'd say this was fired from a regular pistol. Well, whatever size it was, somebody fired a gun in here, right? Apparently. This is an important fact. Do you see a bullet anywhere? No, the police might have taken it, though. Let's ask Detective Fulbright about this bullet hole later. I think we're done with this room. Welcome to the Space Center, guests. Welcome. Yikes! What in the world? My name is Ponko. P-O-N-C-O, Ponko. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you looking around? Choose one, I will guide you. It's a robot. I am not a robot, I am Ponko. Psychological observation and navigation companion. P-O-N-C-O, Ponko. Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up. Oh, Ponko, I've missed you. Huh? Do you know this thing, Athena? Oh, she showed us around the last time when I came here with Apollo. Oh, you're such a good girl, Ponko. That's a good girl. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy, so very happy. Wow, a guide robot. That's pretty cool. My name is Phoenix Wright. Nice to meet you. I don't know you. Huh? Ouch, that hurt. She has to register people she meets for the first time. Please register him, Ponko. Certainly, commencing guest registration. Please tell me your name. A nickname is fine, too. His name is Phoenix. A bit overly familiar, but I'll allow it. Phoenix, please let me get a good look at your face. Sure. Registering. Official registration sequence complete. We are now officially friends. Nice to meet you, Phoenix. This robot is pretty cute. You made a friend, boss. Isn't it great? Phoenix, Athena, allow me to guide you right this way. Oh, goody. Let's go, boss. Go where? Okay, you know what? I'll stop here for tonight before we start investigating a new area. I think that's for the best. Okay, I'm not sure how much of the chapter I've done so far. I guess if this is the Space Museum, we're about halfway through the investigation part of day 1, I suppose. Okay, so I'll be off then. I'll stop here for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night, same time, and we'll continue playing this game then. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. See you next time. Bye-bye.